How you doing? It is the Honey Do Carpenter, and today we're working on this, the light and portable rocket mass heating system. However, this particular project today will work for any wood burning apparatus and increase its efficiency by at least twofold. Now, ultimately we want to be doing this, which is pouring some Aircrete. Our channel is all about Aircrete and the things we can use it for to make the world a better place. Today I'm going to show you how for just 20 bucks you can save thousands of dollars. I really hope that by showcasing the simplicity of some of these projects that I can just bring them that much closer to people that can say, yeah, I can do that and I can save a ton of cash too. I went through and showed you how simple it was to make double-walled insulated stovepipe using Aircrete. For 10 or 12 bucks I showed you guys how you could replace a section of stovepipe that commercially costs about $200. And today I'm going to show you a through the wall or through the roof system that is going to save you literally thousands of dollars. Okay, before I get too deep into this video, you guys have got to see this little demonstration. I mean, this demonstration really showcases why Aircrete is the perfect material for this application. So after I cast that little forge, I went ahead and fired it up, and I was melting hardened steel with it. But I just want to show you guys a little clip that really demonstrates the insulative value of Aircrete.
Glowing hot. I wonder how long it'll glow like that. Probably a good long time. And what's crazy, guys, is it's hot like that on the inside, and look, I can touch the outside. The insulative properties of Aircrete is freaking insane. I mean, that is just crazy.
Okay, now this little through the wall system is what we're talking about. I've developed a way to go through a wall, through a window, through wherever you want safely and easily for about 20 bucks using an Aircrete insulated insert that you build yourself. Now, there are thousands of people out there who have a shed, a shop, a basement, somewhere where they'd like to put a wood burning apparatus, but they don't want to spend a ton of money, and this is the answer. This demo system on the installation of this through the wall chimney system is almost laughable. I saw the tool systems there. They had a handsaw. Yeah, just cut out the sheetrock on the inside, cut out the siding on the outside, and put it together. But pay real close attention to the next part of it when they pan around to the outside, because that's just all left airspace. There's no insulation in there, and that just isn't the case with my system doing it DIY that only costs 20 bucks using Aircrete. I actually went ahead and talked to a contractor on the phone that puts these types of systems together. And they said to put a system like this one together through your wall and up through the roof would cost about 2,500 bucks. And so I think this is a really viable option for people. The fact that you can go get the parts from your Home Depot or your Lowe's and just make this thing for about $20. You can make it any size you want to go between the studs or into a small window or through a basement window. You can just, it's flexible. You can put it anywhere. So this is what I'm talking about. This particular one I made for an actual window insert, and it just fit in the window so you could put the chimney through the window. These pieces of sheet metal cost about $6 a piece at Home Depot, and I just cut them to the exact dimension square of the window that I wanted to put it in. Now, if you wanted to go and put it between studs of a wall, yeah, you could do that as well. You could just square off the studs, stick the insert in there, and it would be totally done. The only other thing that you need to make this is a sheet metal stud, 10 feet long or 8 feet long, depending on how big your insert is. And they're only about, I think I paid $3.79 for that sheet metal stud at Home Depot or Lowe's, I think it was. So I just went ahead and made sure I cut them all to the exact length, two parallel ones, the same length opposite of each other. I manicured the corners really good, and then I commenced to pop riveting them together into a square configuration. This isn't really very complicated stuff, and I think most people could see themselves doing a project like this. I went ahead and made sure that once I squared it, I would just clamp it with some vice grips before I would drill a couple holes in, and then I would just pop rivet it. Now, if you don't have a pop riveter or pop rivet gun, that's fine. You can use sheet metal screws. It really doesn't matter, but you can see how it's coming together. One thing you have to do is you have to figure out what you want the top to be. You see I have it marked, and just make sure that you leave it unsecured and unfastened, because once you fasten the sides on it, you're going to have a way to pour the Aircrete inside of that. So just keep that in mind. I had previously cut the panels to the exact dimensions that I needed, and so I pulled them out and just slipped them in the configuration where they needed to be on the inside of the C-channel studs, and then just commenced pop riveting them into place. As you can see, for the first panel, you have the option of just turning it over and drilling through the back. But when you go to pop rivet it, you're going to want to put something behind it to hold it up. And I found that 2x4s worked quite nicely. You always have to take some time out to spend with your boys and have some fun.
Good job, buddy.
They love to help you.
Yeah, I love it when you help me.
Okay, at this point, you just finish up fastening all the edges, and then you're going to want to line up wherever you want the hole to be. If you want it dead center, then just scribe it dead center. It was a little off center on this one just because of the configuration and the situation of the stove. And once you roll up that little tube to go inside the circles you just cut out, I just took some scrap sheet metal and cut some little tabs. Those tabs are going to be used to anchor that sheet metal tube that you just made onto your window or your wall insert. Now, you're going to want to make sure you clamp some boards along the sheet metal on the top so it doesn't belly out when you actually pour the material in there. And prior to pouring it in, you're going to want to seal any gaps and all the corners and edges inside with some a bead of caulk. And that'll just keep the Aircrete from leaking out on you. Bear in mind, this is a weekend project, because you can do the sheet metal work in a couple of hours or an afternoon, and you can pour it, but you do have to let it sit overnight before you can pour the other half of it. Now, the other half of it is just pouring the insulation around the center tube that you anchored in with your tabs. Now, on this portion of the pour on the second day, guys, I was a little mind boggled. I was trying to think, how am I going to keep this thing sealed up? And luckily, Mrs. Honeydew went up into her kitchen and came up with a brilliant idea. She brought down some saran wrap that was the sticky kind, and man, did it work well. It worked fantastic.
I was gonna spray water on this and just put some fire clay down there so when it got wet it would kind of swell and seal in the edge, but your idea is way better. Let's just do that press and seal saran wrap.
Are you sure? I don't want to
No,
what you're gonna do.
that is a good idea. But this is such a good idea. We'll just stretch some press and seal saran wrap around.
Okay, at this point, all we have left to do is to pour it. Our main concern is that we just keep it square. It was a little bit wobbly because the hole wasn't centered, so I used a little bit of sand to ballast it and keep it just steady. And another one of your main concerns is you want to make sure that your centerpiece is kept perfectly round. And so I made some circle jigs that I stuck in it. And just as it happened chance, they swelled a little on me, so there was a little bit of difficulty getting them removed, but I actually came up with a pretty good idea to do that as well. You just want to take your centering jig or some wedges and center that in the center, and then go ahead and commence your pouring. And as I'm pouring these things, guys, a lot of times, particularly in tight spaces where you're only pouring down an inch or so, I want to give them a little tap, make sure there's no big bubbles in there. I'll tell you what, guys, you're right. I'm picking at this with a chisel by hand, and obviously that's what it looks like. And it seems really soft. This is only set up overnight. You take this stuff that has set up for 28 days. It is hard. It is hard. It is incredibly hard. And it's going to make a great insulation. I don't know if you see all those awesome little air pockets in it.
Slow down. Turn it slower. Okay.
Yeah.
But see, this one, you can tell it's still wet.
Yeah, it's still wet. You can tell. It's only set up for 24 hours. I mean, and it's not hard. So those popped out. Okay. Mrs. Honeydew's saran wrap idea. Let's see how well it works out.
Still really wet.
It is. It is still really moist. And you can see where that little film pulled up, how nice and aerated it is. So it worked out good.
I think we should leave
I'm going to let that cure overnight before I try and bump it and remove these out.
You were thinking on that one.
Wasn't I? Okay. Now I have to put a bigger clevis that the claws of my hammer will fit through. Then I'll put the claws of my hammer through like that. And
oh, it's coming.
It worked, baby.
You seem pretty proud of yourself.
Well, I just was trying to think the other night how I'm going to get them out when they got stuck, and I broke off my dowel on the other side. And I figured it out. I'm going to do it on the other side now. Now, I just got to flatten this off a little bit.
Gonna put the lid on?
Yep, I'm going to put the lid on this. So I'm going to do it with a wire brush, probably. Hey.
Where's your file?
So hey guys, I just want to show you, looking down, that's pretty flat. That looks pretty good. I should be able to put the lid on now. So I gotta try and pull this back to where I can get that it down. And there it is, babe. Oh, wait, did those go in or they're out? I got them perfect. Yeah, these go out. And pop rivet right in there. That'll hold that side, and I'll do the same on the other. And then I'll run pop rivets all down the back of this and all down the front of that. And it'll be golden. Hey guys, if you like what we're doing here, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe. Check out some of our other videos in the upper right hand corner, and be sure and check us out. We're on Etsy at the Honey Do Carpenter Shop on Etsy, and I will catch you guys later. Thumbs up.